What's up, guys? No screaming today. For those of you who don't know, I have a on again, off again beginning of the stream thing where I scream, but I will not be doing it today because my mother is right next door and I don't want her to decide that I'm not allowed to use the air conditioning anymore. See, we're in a very a touchy time of the year, you know, when you're living with an old person who is comfortable with temperatures in the 90 degrees Fahrenheit range. Oh, so I was planning to start streaming way earlier, but I discovered a good AI image generator, so I've just been endlessly prompting elf porn for the last 5 hours or so. By the way, AI is evil, and it's stealing artists of their hard-earned gains, and I'm 100% against it, except when I'm generating 5,000 gigs of porn for myself. I would show it on stream, but I'm pretty sure Twitch doesn't want me displaying my elf porn collection for everybody to see, so... I wish AI storytelling, like AI story prompting, was better than it is, because before I hadn't used image generation until today, but I had been doing a lot of text generation, and I've probably done about, I don't know, 40, 50 hours of text generation and roleplay and stuff like that. And the AI models keep on getting better, but I've never had like a single moment that I really found particularly memorable of AI text generation. Like, it never actually has a story moment that goes up and beyond your own expectations. So if anything interesting happens in the story, it's basically because you told the AI to do it for you. I wish there was kind of a way in which we could make the AI incredibly unhinged, so that there would be just like a higher degree of randomness, so you would get more water cooler moments through the AI prompting process just out of like randomness. If you did it long enough, it would do some weird ass shit. You know, you would often hear in the earlier stages of ChatGPT that it would just be like constantly hallucinating and shit, so you would get great moments in which you get your ChatGPT telling you to kill you or kill yourself or something like that. But I haven't really encountered cool hallucinations in my use of AI, so I've always been disappointed. Watershed moment? I meant to say water cooler moment, not watershed moment. Ever thought of making your own original series? You're looking at it right now, my friend. This is the original series. You can read it on Twitter and Patreon and a million other locations that repost my content. It's right there. This is it. That's why I haven't posted anything in a while, because I've just been drawing 45 pages of manga. I prefer real art, but it makes some funny AI Sasquatch videos. I don't think we can actually define what art is, at least when we're allowing quote-unquote fine artists to tape a fucking banana to a wall and charge $1 million for it or whatever. Art is difficult to define. However, entertainment is easy to define, and I can say that I haven't been that entertained by AI. It was entertaining at first, but you start to get used to its patterns, and it becomes less and less entertaining the more you use it. I thought it was another episodic skit comic, glad to know. Look at this up top. It says Dark Elf Chapter 4, 29 out of 46. So this is a 46 or 45 page chapter. It's chapter 4. So if you haven't read chapters 1 through 3, go and find it and read them now. It's your duty. I will return to standard parody content when I'm done with this chapter. What's up, guys? I just found the docs for my Twitch stats so I can check the number of viewers. We have 22 viewers now. And 22 subscribers. Jesus Christ. I have so few subs. Not that I really care. Because Twitch subbing is the worst way for me to make money. Because half of it goes to Bezos. The paradigm of the construction of a piece of art, according to my history and culture of arts classes, changed around 19th, 20th century, with the process being previously concept, object building, art piece. Now the concept is the art piece. There was a guy called Marcel Duchamp who he put a urinal in a art museum and called it a fountain. And some say that was, you know, how we are in modern art era now or whatever. I don't know. But that's a special part of society. Have a nice work day. Most people don't give a fuck about studio art and stuff like that, so... I mean, what's the proper term for fine art, as in shit that we put in the museum and put in a picture frame and get the bourgeoisie to buy it? I forgot what the term is for that. Anyways, most people can't afford it, and it's probably used for money laundering. But I just want to say that, how can we really say that AI isn't art if we're already allowing people to, you know, shoot paint out of their ass and everyone be like, it's so profound. Feels like we lost the sauce somewhere, but I can't say where. Because before we had modern art, we just had a lot of stuff that was pre-approved by the church. And it was just like Jesus and Maria, and then a bunch of Greek myths. When you wanted to draw a sexy woman being naked, you'd have to draw Greek myths and be like, no, it's not a naked woman, it's the Venus being born. That's my excuse for drawing titties. And the Academy would be like, ah, I see. I was worried you were drawing porn for a second there, sir, but if it's a Greek goddess, it's totally okay. That's true. Most laymen don't give a flying fuck about how it's created, just the outcome. Actually, if we're going for like art pieces, people do care about how it's created. That's why there's always like, when you go to a museum, there's always like an explanation of who the artist is. And everybody actually reads like the biography of the artist. People don't just like run through the fucking gallery if we're talking about museums and stuff. People always like, people even get the fucking guided tour where they get the voice talking about how, you know, Van Gogh was in a state of acute depression when he was painting this and he cut off his fucking ear. And everyone's like, wow, that's so cool, you know? They actually do care very much about the artist. In fact, I would say that people care more about the artist than the actual piece of art. Because, you know, if we're just going by the quality of the art, that's way more subjective. In the end of the day, people really only care about other people. And it's hard to get people to look at things in the context of stuff besides how they're looking at other people. I mean, look at sports and stuff like that. Like, they always give you the biography of the player. You have to make shit relatable to the consumer. Which is probably why nobody gives a fuck about AI art. Like, it doesn't matter how good it looks. As someone who browses AI art accounts on Twitter, and most of them have 0 followers and 0 likes and stuff like that, so... I thought you were speaking in pure consumerism. I was kind of jumping between the different topics, right? There's the quote-unquote art, capital A art, and then there's like consumer art and stuff like that. And obviously when I'm drawing manga, I'm in the consumer art category, but I think when we talk about AI, it's often more a debate about the capital A art instead of the consumer art. It's kind of impossible to tell how popular AI content is as well. Some people are saying that there's like the AI shorts on YouTube and shit. That's just like pure slop. Heroic dog rescues baby cat in ocean or some shit like that, and it has like 30 million views. But like many things online, we don't even know if those views are actually by people or whether they're just bots. So it's truly impossible to tell if something is actually popular or not. You can tell when something's unpopular, that's for sure. It will have like no fucking engagement, but just because something is getting engagement doesn't mean people actually care about it nowadays, because those might not be real people. YouTubers are starting to blame AI content for the reason they now get less views. I mean, it's probably fair. Although the number one reason is that everybody wants to be a YouTuber even before there was AI. We're in the red ocean phase of the internet, so having any kind of a fan base, you know. I don't think sex itself has, but our views of beauty, which are defined partly by our sexual appeal, are indeed the greatest influence for art. Grug caveman, Grug like looking at antelope and drawing image of antelope on cave wall. Grug also like female. Grug draw sexo image on cave wall. Grug artist, simple as. I've actually been to France, and I went to Paris and checked out the Orsay Museum and the Louvre. And I basically spent like a week and a half just going to the museums in Paris. And but in the Orsay Museum, which is it's like one of the other big museums besides the Louvre in Paris, it has a lot more modern stuff. Whereas the Louvre is like pre 1900s stuff generally, I think. But I was in the Orsay Museum, and there was one painting I remember. It was just like a giant up-close painting of a woman's vagina with all of its hair and, you know, folds and shit like that. All the disgusting aspects of the female anatomy that you don't actually want to see. And I was like, oh, this must have been like a really big deal back in the day, because up until like modernity, artists were supposed to like hide the fact that they were, you know, not painting sex, right? If they wanted to paint sex, they were supposed to do a scene out of like Greek mythology or some shit like that. So in the early 20th century, you have this guy just being like, nah, I'm just gonna draw a gigantic vagina. It must have been a big deal. That being said, I was not particularly... I didn't find it particularly beautiful. That's probably why I'm a virgin still. Orsay, formerly train station. Ah, yes, that would make sense. I thought it was an interesting looking building. It definitely had a train station feel to it. Honestly, it's a more interesting building than the Louvre is. The Louvre is pretty crazy because it's so huge and you can just get lost in it for like days. It takes like about 3.5 days to see the Louvre, if you're going to see the entire thing instead of like going straight to the Mona Lisa and calling it a day like most tourists do. The Greek statues are so good. Holy shit, the hips on those things. It really stimulates the breeding instinct of us as men. Carving shit in marble must be so hard. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm having difficulty drawing digital pictures where I can just Control Z and redo any kind of mistakes I make at any single point. Whereas if you're a sculptor and you're doing minus sculpture as like a marble carver, any single mistake and you just like chip off the fucking finger and you're done. In fact, even if you like fuck up the composition of the whole piece and the weights are wrong, then like the arm doesn't properly hold the weight of, you know, the rest of the arm or some shit, and then the arm falls off. I can't imagine how hard that shit is. That and wooden sculpture, where you have to worry about like humidity and stuff and whether the wood is going to start to crack if it's not like thick enough or such shit like that. That stuff is on a completely different level than drawing. Drawing is so much easier. I actually did a little bit of sculpture in college, and it was additive sculpture. It was like bronze sculpture, which is way easier because first you make a clay mold of shit, and then I forgot the actual process, but you make, it's like clay sculpture basically. You make a clay mold, and then you make a mold based off of the clay, and then you put the bronze into the mold, is how it works. So basically what I'm saying is Auguste Rodin was a fucking hack, and anybody could have done that, LMAO. Just kidding. Greek statues makes me act like fucking simian creatures. I also like how the Greek sculpture females have no head and no arms. It's truly the ideal female form for a man. Just a torso, it's all you want. Don't want them to be able to talk to you or be able to move on their own or lift objects. Only the body for sex. That's something that was taught me by Krauser-san from Detroit Metal City. He said all he wants is the lower body. God bless his soul. When I see sculptures of fingers pressing into skin, I want to cry. I will never have that level of talent. Yeah, well, you and everybody else nowadays, who the fuck is making that level of Marvel sculptures? Maybe like 5 people on the planet. Most sculpture people in the modern age are like making gigantic steel beams and stuff and installing the steel beams and being like, look at how it shapes space and stuff. They don't care about extremely manual finger in pushing into flesh kind of stuff. That's only for the Greek Coomers. Is that the guy who broke the record for saying rape the most times in 1 second? Yes. I believe he said rape 11 times in 1 second. He's a legend. He doesn't exist, by the way. That's a manga, if any of you are actually looking for Detroit Metal City. My favorite Detroit Metal City song is Fuckingham Palace, where Krauser-san sings about raping the Queen of England. Truly high art. Fuck, people still do traditional art. I'm not very good at many things, so if AI completely takes over shit and I have to differentiate myself from all the digital stuff in the world, I'm gonna have to start doing oil painting and stuff, so... I don't think there's much benefit in doing pen and ink analog for manga, though. You serious? I'm talking in the future in which, you know, I become unemployed or something because people prefer having AI slop or something. I don't know. I mean, that hasn't happened yet, obviously, but... Because, like, the other things that I have professional level talent in are translation, so that's even more AI reliant than drawing, so... I don't know what's going on with the translation industry, but I'm sure there's mass layoffs regarding that shit. Because we were already using, like, deep learning algorithms, even when I was still employed. I got fired from my translator job before the AI got good, so I don't really know what the situation is. So I guess it doesn't really matter, because they already fired me for not translating fast enough. So maybe I don't have translation as a professional skill, considering I got fired for that. You should start drawing Baroque-style cat girls. Baroque is hard, man. That level of finishing. Yeah, I'll just draw FGO characters. Mommy Raiko as a oil painting. Someone will buy that shit. Baroque, I need to Google that. Have you not heard of the term Baroque? Baroque is an art movement in, what was it, 18th century? In which it had a lot of... I guess it's defined by it being extremely, I don't know, flamboyant, complex. How do you put it? What's the best description for Baroque, guys? Baroque is for pussies. Go full Rococo. Unless you actually have to clean the palace you're living in. Have you seen, like, actual Rococo interiors? Like, holy shit. Imagine the work the maids have to do. Baroque definition. Relating or denoting a style of European architecture, music, and the art of the 17th and 18th centuries that followed. Mannerism is characterized by ornate detail. In architecture, the period is exemplified by the Palace of Versailles and by the work of Bernini in Italy. Major composers include Vivaldi, Bach, and Handel. Caravaggio and Rubens are important Baroque artists. Yes, when we say Baroque, I think we all know what Baroque is about. It's, of course, Baroque works involving Sir Crocodile and Nico Robin and all your favorite One Piece characters. I remember reading in the One Piece book that he called Baroque works because it's a flamboyant art movement. So all the characters in Baroque works were like weird people. Except once you think about all the characters that appear in One Piece after the Alabaster arc, all of them are also weird people. So the impact of the concept of Baroque works is kind of low, considering, you know, they're pretty normal. Crocodile is one of the most normal human beings in One Piece. I learned chiaroscuro from Homestar Runner. I've never really touched Homestar Runner, even though I was drawing the dragon thing recently. You had to be there. I didn't have as much internet access as I wanted back in the heyday, so that probably also got in the way of my Homestar Runner experience. See, now that we've been talking about Baroque, we need to have like the Vivaldi playlist showing up. I have all these kimono photos for reference for the not kimono, not yukata that Aubrey is wearing here. Concerto number 2 in E major. I really think classical music people should figure out a different naming convention for all their various compositions. Nobody can fucking remember stuff like this and that in E major, E minor, blah blah blah. It reminds me of when like Lexus names their cars like the M3 or something like that. It's just like a letter and a number, and I'm like, I can't fucking remember this. Are you kidding me? What kind of a name is that? You have to name it something like the Ford Escape or some shit like that, or I'm not going to remember the name of your car. Same thing with a classical music artist. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's always like this name of something in whatever, you know, note is in, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then you actually listen to it, and you're like, oh, I've heard that thing like 80 million times. I didn't know it was called that. Although I haven't heard this. Honestly, when we say Vivaldi, it's almost always Four Seasons, so... Check out the Ecstasy of Saint Teresa if you want to see peak Baroque. Also, why I was saying that people needed to draw Jesus and Mary in Greek myths if they wanted to see, wanted to draw sexo. Ecstasy of Saint Teresa is just like straight up orgasm having woman. It's like, what if I just drew a woman having an orgasm and then said that it was like some religious epiphany? She was cooming from the power of the light of Jesus. Jesus' love was so strong she couldn't help herself. Imagine jizzing and getting an accolade from Catholic Church. Don't be silly, women can't jizz. And we don't talk about any of the other liquids that come out of the female body. They're all unholy. Why do you think that in Demon Souls there was like the Saint Astrea and they had to send her to the Valley of Defilement? Which is like full of aborted fetuses and stuff. Female orgasm is a myth. Saint Teresa did the impossible. I never really understood why, like, in the 50s or whatever, in the conservative patriarchal years of Western society where, like, women can't come. Like, don't you feel that, like, I like the current version of being demeaning to women in which we have all this hentai that is all about women having so many orgasms they turn into dick-hungry cum sluts and betray their husband and go and have sex with Chad, which is, offensive for other reasons. Like, why was the default opinion of the 50s being like, every woman is a frigid bitch? Maybe it was guys they just wanted to ejaculate as quickly as possible, so they were like, there's no point in trying to please my wife. I will just come inside immediately and then go smoke my cigars and drink my whiskey in my leather armchair, as I am the patriarchal head of this family. Orgasm was considered a form of hysteria, I think. If anything, giving women orgasms is the only way to make them shut up and stop being hysterical. That's what I've been told. I wouldn't know, of course. I have zero first-hand experience in pleasuring women, and I don't plan to change that anytime soon. I guess men were having erectile dysfunction due to consuming too much amphetamines. Yes. We must give all the housewives their proper amphetamines diet, so they're not hysterical, and then also the men can have the amphetamines as well. I will only shut up if given a sleeve of Oreos and a minimum 60-hour JRPG. I remember back in the day when JRPGs weren't always like 80 hours, but now like every JRPG is like at least 60 hours. Although maybe not the Atelier stuff. But I remember back in my day when I played Xenogears, it felt like it went on forever. And when I checked the playtime, it was like 72 hours. Damn, that was a long game. And like for the modern JRPGs, like if you're playing Persona 5 and Dragon Quest 11, although I don't know if you call that modern considering they came out like 10 years ago, Those are both like 70 hours will get you to the halfway point, basically. For all the complaints I have about modern gaming, they certainly have given us more playtime, that's for sure. Before Final Fantasy X, every JRPG besides Yasumi Matsuno games had dialogue that read like The Sandlot. I haven't watched The Sandlot in a long time, so I don't even know if you're insulting it or not. Maybe The Sandlot is one of the great accomplishments of American literature. Also, there's probably people in this chat who don't know what The Sandlot is. So let's not date ourselves too hard. I bet you guys didn't watch that childhood classic Homeward Bound when you were in elementary school. That's probably why you're all such cynical fucks. But I believe in the ability of a ragtag group of abandoned pets to find their way home without any CGI. I was not ready for the current discussion when opening. Yes. We've been covering a variety of topics, such as Baroque classical music and orgasms and classic 90s children's movies. You think I'm using enough layers for a single image here? I have like 30 layers for this one panel here. I think it's time to start merging them down. These are all layers that the reason why I haven't made much progress is because I had to redraw the fucking hand and arm of Aubrey like 8 fucking times. Because I still can't draw hands. Look at this. These are all failed attempts at drawing hands. All of these layers right here, see? One hand here, I'm like, nah, that's not right enough. No, don't like that arm, don't like this hand. Is the proportions right? What the fuck is going on? Hands, and so on. But I think we can delete all of this shit now. This hand is good enough. That's really all you can ask. Show all the hands at once. Like in Hunter x Hunter when he goes God Senju Kannon mode or whatever. No. That'll be a special Patreon bonus for everyone. It's so frustrating. It really is, because besides drawing hands anatomically correct, they're also like forms of expression. So the reasons why I had to redraw hands a million times is Aubrey is obviously tripping here, right? So when you trip, your arms flail out to support your body, but the space, created by the open hands right here is what makes the reader feel the movement of her tripping. So I had to get the hands right, or else it would just have ruined the entire panel. Hokuto Hyakuretsuken! Why am I saying ura 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 ura? He doesn't say that. He says acha! Ocha! I'm getting my JoJo and my Hokuto mixed up. See, now we've heard that shit. Wait, is this spring? I think it's spring. Yeah. It is spring. You rarely hear the other 3 seasons. You usually get like spring and a bit of summer. I can't tell you what the fuck, winter and shit sounds like. Also, am I the only one who has zero idea what conductors do in classical music? Every time I see a conductor and they're just like standing there moving their arms and waving that shit back and forth, I'm like, yo, I could do that. What's that guy even doing? He's just like moving his arms. That ain't real shit. I could do that. They've announced a new Fist of North Star anime, by the way. I mean, it's still popular, right? It's such a basic concept. It's probably way easier to make more Fist of the North Star content than, say, Dragon Ball content. Post Toriyama and stuff like that. All you need to do is just have a post-apocalyptic situation where there's a lot of bad guys who are beating the shit out of old men. And then, you know, Kenshiro shows up and then he beats the shit out of them and their heads explode and everyone goes home happy. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. It's such a basic level of satisfaction, so... Fencing. Fencing is another thing that I don't know what the fuck's going on because now they have the electronic scoring. So it's just people like lunging at each other and you can't even see what the fuck is happening and it's just like poke. I'm just like, bitch, what's happened? I know there was a Japanese fencing champion Olympian guy who is short as fuck, which is obviously like a huge massive disadvantage in fencing because it's all about like who can stretch their arms and poke first. So I can't, but apparently he won a bunch of stuff. I don't know, I'm not really interested in it. All of our sword technique shit is kind of like, until we're actually using real steel blades and we can cut each other's arteries, I can't really take it seriously. Everybody should essentially kill themselves when they play sports, just like the American sport of football. I like how when you watch the NFL, there's all these commercials for, like, girls to play football, but it's flag football. And I'm like, that's right, women. CTE is reserved for men only. You're going to have to run around and grab the little flags or whatever, their handkerchief coming out of each other's pockets. Us real men are going to smash our skulls into each other's helmets until we die of degenerative brain disease at 35. That's the American way. Too many commercials, fuck that. It really is too many commercials. It's kind of hard to overstate how many fucking commercials you have to sit through when you watch the NFL. It's like, oh, that's so exciting. They scored a touchdown. You know what's going to happen next? We're going to get a commercial after the touchdown. You know what's going to happen after the 5 commercials? They're going to kick the extra point. You know what's going to happen after they kick the extra point? We're going to have more fucking commercials. Then they're going to kick the ball into the end zone, and then we're going to have more commercials. It's the ultimate, television sport in that there's every single play is cut off between. There's no, flow. So you can just play commercials whenever the fuck you want to make more money. It's kind of crazy, honestly. Meanwhile, the soulless Europeans have to watch that horrible soulless sport of quote-unquote real football where they don't stop to have commercial breaks. What a bunch of fucking cucks. Imagine not being marketed FanDuel 50,000 times to you during a single match. How do they even know what to buy? just ate some plain Greek-style yogurt. I don't like Greek-style yogurt. It always makes me feel like I'm about to choke and die. It's too thick. I know a lot of you guys out there are gargling cum or whatever, so the Greek-style yogurt. Who am I kidding? Greek-style yogurt is way, way thicker than cum. Gargling cum wouldn't help you at all. You don't like yogurt, oats, and the heat? I don't really dislike oats. They just make me fart, so... Your ass would really appreciate yogurt. I was eating yogurt before I started using flaxseed oil, but the combination of flaxseed oil and yogurt was too much. It was making my poop too soft. So I changed the yogurt eating to flaxseed oil on my salad. And I think that's a little better for the hemorrhoids. Actually, my hemorrhoids have been getting better recently. I haven't had, like, blood everywhere. I also have a doctor's visit set up, but it's my primary care physician. So you have to go to your primary care physician first, and then you go to a specialist. The Twitch stats say I only have 43 viewers right now. I hadn't been checking viewers for quite a while. In fact, I didn't know where you could check the number of viewers. I guess it's better for your mental health if you don't actually check the number of viewers. Just chat with chat. But is that a normal number? I was told that I would get like up to 70 viewers or something. For the people who have actually been following these streams. I haven't checked the number of viewers I was getting in many years now. Glad to hear you reconcile with the enemy, Mom. You tend to have 30 to 60 since like 2021. Huh. That's a long time ago. When you first started, it was averaging just over 100. Well, I did stop properly, streaming on a daily basis and stuff, so... Rugby players are now freakishly huge across the board. Yeah. They really are. Rugby thighs. Women should play more rugby. We need to have thicker thighs in women, and there's nothing that makes the thighs thicker than rugby. You have a low number of somewhat loyal viewers. I mean, I guess it's better that way considering all the shit I say on stream. If I had more than 100 viewers, then, yeah, when I started off, on my first stream, I had like 200 viewers because I was already established as a Twitter artist, right? And then it just sort of goes down from there because, from there it goes, you're not going to increase the number of people who know me as a Twitch streamer, but don't know me as an artist. So they're like, I don't like his voice. I don't like how he talks about his prostate every day. Excuse me, not my prostate, my hemorrhoids every day, and so on and so on. And, you start to lose viewers and shit like that. Also, people, graduate and get families and stuff like that, so they don't have time to be tuning into this one stream that's only on for like 2 hours a day, every other day. That is often canceled when I don't feel like it or my room is too hot or shit like that. I don't think the stream is all that discoverable. Everybody who keeps on telling me I need to have a VTuber avatar, you can shut the fuck up now. This stream will not have more people if I have a VTuber avatar. I can guarantee that. This is all Gura's fault. Also Peko. Fucking Pecora taking all my viewers. Stupid rabbit. You lose viewers by you stop screaming at the start. I'll scream when it's not incredibly hot and my mother isn't right next door listening to me. I remember those early viewers telling you to get a model were annoying as hell. Yes, because the only thing you need is to be successful is to have a VTuber model, am I right? As if there isn't a million people who have VTuber models in every single Twitch category who have like 5 viewers. Most art streamers with like 200 plus viewers are also YouTubers. True. Does YouTube have like real-time comment monitoring? If I said something like, I don't know, controversial about Israel, for example, would they immediately end the stream? Not that I would ever say that. Stupid rabbit needs correction. So can someone explain to me what's going on with Pecora Mama? Is it like a different person? Is it Pecora with like a voice changer? The only reason I know about Pecora Mama is because like she actually shows up in all the AI generated porn I'm consuming. Is she actually Pecora's mother? I'm pretty sure that's not the case, but what the fuck do I know? It's her actual mom? Oh no, it's even hotter. No wonder everyone's gooning so hard. Imagine just being like a proper Japanese mother and then your adult daughter starts pretending that she's an anime character rabbit and makes a living off begging online for people to throw money at her when she's pretending to be an anime character. And then she asks you to come on stream. And now that your daughter is so popular, now you're an anime character. And you're probably like 63 at this point. But there's an entire subsection of the internet producing AI porn of you, your big titty mommy milker rabbit anime character avatar, which I assume is what it is. I haven't actually seen an image of Pecora Mama, but I'm sure she has the big mommy milker set up. And now an untold number of Chigyu gooners are jacking off to your avatar online. What a weird world we live in 2025. Like how can you get to that point? I am shocked they even rigged her mother a model. Those are expensive. I mean, it's working out, right? I'm sure Pecora is fucking huge, so imagine getting mogged by your own mom. It do be like that in the world of anime, though. When people found out that there was no aging in anime world and every mom character was just the same character as a daughter except with more maternal instincts and giant fat boobs, suddenly the maternal side, the older option suddenly became way more appealing to all the men. Everyone just wants to fuck the anime moms now. Don't ask them to have sex with real moms, though. The older woman is only appealing when she has none of the negative effects of aging that come in real life. Ball, stop acting surprised. We live in the digital age. Keck W, I guess. It's just a weird setup. Pecora got Kojima shaking my head. I can't believe that Kojima-san is getting NTR'd away from me by Pecora. I don't know how much motion lines I want to put into this image. I think I'm going to have to figure that out off stream because it's hard to feel the motion while I'm trying to talk to you guys. Kojima's new game, any good? I have not bought it, so I do not know. However, most people seem to be... I feel like if you didn't like Death Stranding 1, you probably won't like 2, so we're just in the fan base is already established kind of mode at this point. I have not played 1 yet, so I'll play it at some point, I guess. Just learned that Kojima is active on Twitter. It's funny as fuck. Yeah, Kojima was born to be on Twitter. He must troll everybody. Alright, this line here needs to be thinner. You gotta like Dick Riding 1 to enjoy Dick Riding 2. How can you not enjoy Death Stranding? The first of the Strand type game. Such an amazing innovation. I like how Kojima basically created the ultimate versions of the insults we have for PlayStation games on 4chan. Metal Gear was like the first true movie game in my opinion, except it's an awesome movie game. Metal Gear Solid truly feels like you're in an action movie. And then he makes Death Stranding, which is a literal walking simulator in the most accurate meaning of the word. It's actually a walking simulator, but it's actually a cool idea to control minute parts of the walking movement. What a brilliant master. Metal Gear Solid was so fun, fuck my life. Every once in a while I'll replay Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation 1 and I'll just be in awe of like the absolute cinema it is. Just like the fucking entrance. Like you're getting ready to enter this, you know, Alaskan base. It's just fucking chills. And they give you the debriefing, and you're like, oh shit, I actually have to remember this stuff because it's important. Dude, dude. Dude, 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 dude. Fucking Letterbox, Konami. A Hideo Kojima game. Alaska Bering Sea. It actually is fucking cinema. And then you get these PS1 graphics and you're like, look at this shitty graphics. Wait. The graphics are shitty, but it's actually fucking cinema. Fucking cinema, submarine. Blocky as fuck. Submarine interior.
Disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by Next Generation Special Forces. being led by members of Foxhound. They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss. And they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
Nuclear weapon?
You'll have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the president of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or...
You guys remember how in the first hour or so of Metal Gear Solid 1, the Colonel is like, you need to contact Meryl. Her frequency is on the back of the box. Remember that shit? When I was playing Metal Gear Solid 1 for the first time, it took me like 4 hours to figure out what the fuck he meant. I kept on walking around the Alaskan base, like looking at boxes and shit. And I was like, what box? Box? What the fuck is box? Have I missed a box somewhere? What kind of box? For those of you who don't know what the Colonel means, he means the back of the box, as in the fucking CD case in which the CD-ROM of the PlayStation 1 game comes in. There's a screenshot on the back of the base of, you know, different scenes from the game, and in one of the scenes, you're talking on the codec to fucking Meryl. Obviously, this didn't translate well into the post-hardware era of video games, so that joke is forever lost to history, but Kojima was fucking breaking the fourth wall within, like, the first hour of the game, and my, like, 10-year-old brain couldn't fucking handle it. I was just like, what is he talking about? I don't understand. If you didn't have your box and you were borrowing your CD from, like, your friend or something, and you didn't get the case with him, you were basically fucked. It's like some of the most aggressive fourth wall breaking I've seen. Apparently on the Steam version, it's one of the promo images on the store page now. Good. At least you'll get some amount of satisfaction. Of course, people who are playing Metal Gear Solid on Steam at this point probably have already played it like 5 times already, so... Unfortunately, you can never recreate the moment in which Psycho Mantis asks you to put your controller on the floor, and he's like, now I will move your controller with my mind. And then it vibrates and shit. Although I guess if you're using a proper vibrating controller, you could do it even on Steam. I guess there's no memory card, though. That's the number one you can't recreate. Well, actually, could he recreate it? Does anyone know if the PC version of Metal Gear Solid 1 has, like, can he read your hard drive and shit and be like, you like Castlevania or something like that, like he could on the PlayStation 1? Because that was like one of the big things that got lost during the transition to other platforms. People can just Google Meryl codec number now. We had GameFAQs back in the day, and that was about it. I started playing video games right around when the earliest stages of the internet started happening. It's cool that we still have GameFAQs, though. Although it was completely impossible to actually, like, guide yourself through a stage based on these, like, text instructions that you'd have in these GameFAQs text files. The switch up of not playing as Snake was genuinely smart. Everybody hated it, though. I don't know. I feel like Metal Gear Solid 2 is a little too self-referential. Like, the entire second half is basically breaking the fourth wall, being like, Raiden, you're in a simulation. This is all a recreation of Metal Gear Solid 1. I'm like, oh god. Jesus Christ, Kojima. Just let me play the game. Stop trying to fuck with my mind. That's why Metal Gear Solid 3 is the best. If I were gonna rank them, it would be like this. Metal Gear Solid 3 significantly better than Metal Gear Solid 1, which is significantly better than 2 and 4. And 5? Don't ask me about 5, because I ain't played that shit. Every time I think about playing it, I have it for free for my PS Plus. So I'm like, I should play it. And then I start on Ground Zeroes. And every time I start on Ground Zeroes, I'm just like, man, I'm just not enjoying this. What's the point? And I stop playing it. The Steam version by default says your memory is clean, but there's a menu to add fake data to trigger the dialogue options. I see you like Doki Doki Literature Club. The combination of Psycho Mantis and Doki Doki Literature Club Monica referring to each other would be like a cataclysmic level of fourth wall breaking happening at the same time. I don't think I could handle it. Multiple characters telling you to shut off your PC. AI Gen Psycho Mantis commentary on your Steam library. It would legitimately break me.
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
What did you say?
The mission is a failure. Cut the power right now.
What's wrong with you?
Don't worry. It's a game. It's a game just like usual.
You'll ruin your eyes playing so close to the TV.
What are you talking about?
Imagine if this was like 2001 and you literally turned off the game console without saving because the colonel told you to. I was playing that part of Metal Gear Solid 2 in the middle of the night, like at 2 in the morning. Like, I was like, I can finish this game right now, and it goes down that fucking rabbit hole, fourth wall breaking bullshit. And I thought I was actually going insane. It was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed.
Only GW.
Who are you?
To begin with, we're not what you'd call human. Over the past 200 years, a kind of consciousness formed layer by layer in the crucible of the White House. It's not unlike the way life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago. The White House was our primordial soup, a base of evolution. We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
What?
What?
Listen carefully, like a good boy.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century.
Man, having Rose call you a good boy in 2025 kind of hits different.
We started with genetic engineering.
And by that I mean it's Gooner time.
Digitizing life itself.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
Human memories, ideas, culture, history.
Genes don't contain any record of human history.
Is it something that should not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
We've always kept records of our lives through words.
By the way,
symbols,
besides all
to books.
the shit that Kojima was ahead of his time in Metal Gear Solid 2, he was also ahead of his time in NTR content. Remember when the Colonel is like, I saw Rose come out of a hotel with another man? I'm sorry, Jack. I heard her coming out of a hotel with somebody. I'm trying to find it, but it's not showing up. Guess we're just gonna have to listen to all of them.
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
What did you say?
What did you say? How many of them do they have?
Sky to the east. It was moving very irregularly. Suddenly, there was intense light all around me.
He talks about how there was an UFO.
What do you think happened to me?
Huh?
Fine. Forget it. I hear it's amazing when the famous purple stuffed worm in Flapjaw Space with the tuning fork does a raw blink on Harry Carey Rock. I need scissors. 61. Infiltrate the enemy fortress. Outer Heaven. Destroy the final weapon. Metal Gear. Actually, there is something I have been meaning to tell you, but I just couldn't. I think you should know, though. On Saturday morning last week,
This is it.
I saw a guy leaving Rosemary's room. How should I put it? It was like they were intimate. I'm sorry. Sorry to bring this up during the mission, but President Baker.
He's actually doing NTR content.
You blasted through the wall. Hurry and save him before the terrorists discover his code.
Crazy how much soul early 2000 games had. I mean, Kojima's still shitting it out.
Has its limits. I just can't leave this.
I'm sure Death Stranding 1 and 2 have some serious amounts of soul as well. It's just like everything is so fucking soulless right now. Our standards have been warped. Kids growing up with only Fortnite to look forward to. And even Fortnite is probably one of the better options out there if you think about it. Like, you get to have like cool concerts, Drake concerts with your friends or some shit like that. But I do feel bad for kids who have been forced to play the same video games for their entire childhood. They've only had one game because it takes like literally 5 or 6 years for a video game to come out. Fortnite is a catalyst of that bullshit, and it works. If you think of it more as a just a online chat room, it's not that big a deal though. It's not like all the Zoomer kids actually play Fortnite as their video game. They just use it as a place to hang out. So from that aspect, I guess it's not that, bothersome. It's just socializing, right? I mean, I was hanging out in Final Fantasy XI doing nothing but leveling up. If I had properly used that time in which I was playing Final Fantasy XI to draw a little bit more manga, I might be actually better nowadays. Instead of wasting all that time grinding my fucking RPG character. Most Gen X parents were not given the memo out about ESRB. The kids are fine. I mean, I think the kids who are playing Fortnite are fine, but I do wonder about the kids who just watch TikTok nonstop. Obviously, there's probably going to be some overlap between those two things, but isn't there like actual studies that show people have gotten stupid after, and not just kids, like everybody has gotten more dumb when you look at your phone all day and stuff? Like, I don't watch TikTok and shit, but like, I can see how intelligence might go down if all we're doing is consuming shit in the format of like 30 seconds bites of the most viral content. It's just like happy dogs jumping up and down. Once you've seen that, you go to the next happy dog video. The endless dopamine rush. People in general have gotten dumber. As someone who is just generating dark elf porn for the last 6 hours because I found a good AI image generator, I can't really complain too much about the younger generations of having endless dopamine cycles pumped into their brain. The lack of socialization for the 2 years due to COVID didn't help. That's what I've been told. But as someone who absolutely hates socializing with people, it's hard for me to be like, oh no, you know. Their best years of their lives stolen. People have access to the most amount of information than we ever had in history, or we just don't have comprehension or critical thinking skills. Yeah, you can say that for sure. I was actually like legitimately getting depressed yesterday because I was paying attention to the Republican bill going through the Senate and House and reading up on all this stuff in which it basically is legitimately a law that where the rich people get more money and the poor people are funding it. And I was just like, my God, this is the like crowning achievement of Fox News and stuff, getting Republican voters to vote against their interest. It's been going on my entire life, but this is like the pinnacle of it. They've finally done it. They finally convinced Fox News viewers to give away their money and benefits so the rich can be even richer. And people will literally not notice it. Human beings are actually too fucking stupid to be able to notice the same pattern that has been going on for the last 35 years. My entire lifetime. There's only 2 fucking parties in the United States. And if you're not rich, you probably shouldn't be voting for one of them. But this is too complicated for people to figure out. It truly is depressing. Like, I'm not saying that the Democratic Party is good, but you'd think that at some point all these poor-ass people in Republican voting states would kind of notice that they need social programs to survive because they're literally on them, but, you know, they don't. We really need to institute ranked choice voting federally. Don't worry, there won't be any voting either. That's the panic liberal opinion on this shit. I must escape to Japan, where there are too many parties to vote for and I don't know who to vote for. I truly don't know which party I would vote for if I was living in Japan. I guess I could vote for parties in Japan already because I have Japanese citizenship, so I could be voting from abroad, but I really don't know who I should be voting for. My mother is like an actual Communist Party lover because Japan has like a Communist Party, and I keep on telling her like, The Japanese Communist Party is fucking stupid, but she does not listen to me. Also, she doesn't actually vote, despite her Japanese citizenship, so it doesn't really matter. I really hope there's a Garu party. Garu do not participate in politics. They're busy having children. They're also not my first choice for various women to associate myself with. They're like 5th or 6th in line. Behind sexually frustrated office ladies and the librarian girl in every anime that has glasses. Student council president. Balls ranked choice voting for Japanese women. Also just like anime archetypes, if we're going to be honest. I like the anime archetype of the woman that is the school class president. And she's also a Ojo-sama that gets driven to the school in a limousine. And as the school, the student council president, she has immense amounts of political power. And nobody can, you know, resist the political power of the student council. That's pretty awesome. I went to high school in Japan. I can't even remember if there was a student council. If there's one thing that's definitely different between reality and fiction in Japanese anime, it's how powerful the student council is. Student council don't do shit in real life, guys. I'm not even sure what they do. I think they have to like organize the school festivals or something, but not all of it, because that would be too much work. Anime moms with moles. Yes, if you don't actually have a mole next to your eye or mouth, then you should add one with a permanent marker for maximum sexual appeal. Also, I started watching Utena, but I didn't finish. It was getting too gay. Actually, it wasn't really getting too gay. It was just getting too shoujo, I guess. Never understood the purpose of a student council. I don't know. I think they organized something, but I'm not sure what it is. Ugh. Okay, I can't listen to this space-ass music. This is gonna put me to sleep immediately. Probably to instill structure or something? Probably. Oh shit, it's the 1980s nostalgia vibe mall playlist. Look at this shit. You know we've entered a dark time in which people wax nostalgia for the 1980s mall experience. One of the most horrible, soulless locations on the fucking planet of any time. Now people are like, 1980s. The strip mall. Yeah, that was the good old days. Voter turnout among young people in Japan is very low. I think you might need to start practicing not caring about politics if you want to move to Japan. I'm not saying that I care about politics or don't care about politics. I legitimately don't know who I should vote for. See, societal change in Japan, it's very easy to vote in America because the parties are extremely different and there's only 2 parties. So you basically have 3 options in America. You vote for option A, option B, or option C, which is not voting at all, which makes the whole, you know, decision-making process extremely easy. But in Japan, there's like 30 different parties. And no matter which one you vote for, society doesn't seem to like change that much. It's not like in America in which if you choose to vote for one party, the person who's leading that party literally refuses to, you know, step down as president and is actively trying to make the country into a dictatorship. You know? It's, nothing that dramatic is happening in Japan, so... Best part of Japanese politics are those candidates standing on vans with the megaphones. It's okay if it's just in front of the train station and shit like that, but there are vans that drive around with the fucking megaphone on the top of the van, the Keitora trucks and shit like that, just being like, Kiyoki ippyo onegai shimasu, blah, 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 that shit. And it's extremely annoying if you're living in Japan during election season because it is loud as fuck. I don't know why they're allowed to do that. I laughed at my brother's face thinking Trump will fix America. Holy shit. I mean, I sort of understand why people think that Trump would fix America because he is dramatically different from the status quo up until this point. It's just that people didn't have enough imagination to recognize that shit might just get worse instead of better, you know? If all you care about is being against liberal cultural issues and, like, you don't want trans athletes or competing against other girls or some shit like that, at least he's giving you that. It's just that this comes at the cost of basically all of your Medicaid and social benefits and stuff like that. The problem with Americans is that there's so many Americans who are poor that think that they're not poor, who don't recognize that they're poor. So when Republicans are like, those people are going to vote to increase taxes and it's going to hurt all the rich people. There's all these poor people in America who are like, damn, that's awful. I should vote against that. Taxes are bad. And when you try to explain to them that they're not rich, they're poor, in fact, these taxes do not affect them at all because they have a yearly income of $10,000. They're like, yeah, but I'm rich at heart because I love Jesus. It's more like, I'm going to be rich in the future. I believe in my ability to be rich in the future, so I don't want to have to pay taxes when I'm rich. And you try and convince them that no, they will not be rich in the future. They're going to be poor their entire life and they don't believe you. Bernie would have had the Obama factor, but Dems pushed him out for Hillary. I mean, I don't deny that the Democratic Party probably was trying to not get Bernie nominated, but Bernie wasn't exactly that close in terms of the primary voting, guys. I know all the Bernie bros are in denial about that as well, but how close was Bernie Sanders to Hillary during primary 2016? Clinton won roughly 16.8 million votes to Sanders' 13.2 million, a difference of about 3.6 million votes. Yeah, it's a 12 percentage point gap. I don't think it was that fucking close. I'm sure you're gonna be like, oh no, it was rigged, but you know, it wasn't that close. I can make generational wealth within a generation while tilling the field for my corporate-owned farm. We're gonna reach a point in America in which we're basically will be like the fucking peasants who are feeding the aristocrats, where the peasants have to give up like 50% of the potatoes they make, and it just goes to the aristocrats, and then the aristocrats do nothing, and they're like good. Americans also have varying ideas of what a social democrat is. Yeah. Americans don't really know what the word social or society means. Or socialist. That's the biggest thing where they don't know what it means. We've been trained well to be retards. What else are these poor gonna do with all this wealth but drink themselves to death? I can handle power much better than they can. What do Americans do with their savings and stuff? I think they go to like Disneyland and waste it. See, the reason why Americans don't think that they're poor even when they're poor is because every single American can get like 50,000 credit cards whenever they want them. So they can just be in like massive amounts of debt instead of actually having real money. And then just never pay it off. Considering you can just get a credit card no matter how shitty your situation is. Like, are any of us really poor when we can just go into insane amounts of debt and then legally it's illegal to pass the debt on to our like children or our spouses and stuff? Can't we all just like go into insane credit card debt and then die? That seems like a pretty good strategy if you think about it. Why have any real money when you can just go into debt? You have the idiots on TikTok flashing cash like they're rich. I love it because you know they're poor. Are you saying that my TikTok role model who has a Lamborghini might have just been renting his Lamborghini? No, that cannot be true. The Lamborghini, I'm sure he's fully paid off his Lamborghini that he's showing off on YouTube and TikTok. I'm not poor, I can blow what should be my retirement on MTG cards. The hilarious part about blowing all your money on MTG cards is that there's a legitimate possibility that you can like just resell that shit. It's not like buying Beanie Babies. Like your big titty Tifa MTG card might be worth something in the future. Although maybe not if you open it. I guess you have to have the packs unopened. The biggest, I don't know what to call it, hypocrisy for now. People who are actually very well off and have great credit scores have a less likelihood to get loans because the banks know they can't be slaved in debt. I mean, it's not really hypocrisy. That's just how the system works. The whole way in which the banks make money is by you paying interest. So if you're someone who has a lot of cash reserves and can pay off your loan faster, then the banks aren't going to make as much money, right? They want you to be on that loan program for your entire life. When I was buying my car, I bought my car, I can't remember whether it was like completely new or it just had like a few hundred miles on it or whatever, but I bought my car and I bought it in cash because I was living at home, and I still am living at home, so I had enough cash reserves to just buy a, $20,000 car. And I went to the car dealership and they were like, so how do you want to finance it? And I'm like, I'm going to buy it with a check right now. And they were like, you do understand that we make most of our money through financing plans and, you paying like 6% interest or whatever. And I was like, okay, I don't care. And they saw the strong Asperger autism in my eyes and realized I was just going to straight up leave the fucking dealership without buying the car if I couldn't buy it in cash. And I was like, yep, just going to buy it in cash. And, the autism was too strong, basically. They couldn't sell me anything. They're like, you want extra warranty? Do you want, extra insurance? Like, no, don't want it. Don't want your plan. Don't want that plan. Don't give a fuck. Just buying the car. Goodbye. Psh. Easy. I am immune to sales pitches. Don't give a single fuck what you're trying to sell me. They just outright said that to you. I think they could smell the tism just wafting off my body. They're like, oh no, he's completely autistic. The tism is too strong. I mean, I think it's simple, you just buy what you have money for. You have $20,000 in your bank account and then you use it to buy the car. But, normal people who don't have tism are easily swayed by the words of the car salesman who's like, ooh, that's not a good idea. It will be better off if you're in debt to our dealership. We can't explain how, but wouldn't you rather pay this off over the course of, 15 years? I'm like, no. Yeah, it was pretty funny when they just straight up said, like, yeah, we're not going to be making a profit if you don't enter our payment plans. I was like, LMAO, got him. They're spilling the beans. I mean, but what are they going to do, beg? Normal people will just take the bait and not understand they just got played. So I'm sure there's a bunch of people. I know Death Striker watches Financial Audit. I also watch Financial Audit because I need some noise in the background. So I listen to Caleb yelling at people that they're not credit card people. But yeah, I didn't understand how people thought about money until I started watching Financial Audit, or at least dumb people, non-money people, how they thought about money. Because I think about money in terms of just very basic, like, subtraction and addition. Like, I have so much money in my bank account, that means that's the amount of money I have. But the people who are on Financial Audit are like, yes, but I got my tax return, that means I have $2,000 extra, that means I can go to Disneyland because that's like free money. Like, they don't think of it as an entire pool of the money you have and the money you have to pay off. Like, that's not how they think about things. It's a very strange mentality. I don't get it. the yelling guy, I love that guy. It used to be like a normal financial show in which you actually got like helpful information on when to invest in the stock market and stuff, but now it's just like crazy people. It's become the same category as like a Jerry Springer show where you just watch it to see the crazy people. There are some people who don't leave the house without shopping, and that is wild to me. Nowadays, you don't have to leave the house, though. You have your Amazon credit card, and then you're like, oh, I'm getting points. It's okay. I just spent $600 on buying shit from Amazon. Think about all the points I'll have. Wait, who was Sam Hyde? I can't remember who Sam Hyde was. Was he one of the tech people? Sam Hyde? Oh, the comedian, yeah. The guy is this the weak should feel the strong guy? I think he is. Should fear the strong. Classic comedian moment where you're about to break the neck of this woman and it becomes an internet meme, and now all the women around you want you to put them in headlocks and pretend you're about to murder them. This is just this guy's profile now. That's a twink. Well, these are women. Classic women choke me out daddy energy here. Women are just twinks with less rights. Are we sure about that? I'm pretty sure twinks don't have that much rights either. Definitely not in prison. I guess it depends on the type of twink you are. Korean twinks must perform for all the women. They're the dancing monkeys of women, so I think they have less rights. They have to pretend to be gay so female K-pop stans can imagine that they're in like gay relationships in the boy bands. Less rights in the Middle East? Yeah. If you're a woman in Western society, you have probably more rights than a twink. I don't know. We're kind of working on that right now with like the whole abortion getting revoked and stuff like that, but if you go to the Middle East, you're definitely not doing good in the female rights part. Wait, can Saudi Arabian women drive right now? I remember that was a big thing for a while. Can Saudi women drive? Saudi women are legally allowed to drive. The ban on women driving in Saudi Arabia was officially lifted in 2018. You just have to make sure you have your male guardian to make sure that you don't walk around and have lecherous sex or whatever. As long as you have your brother with you at all times to make sure that you're not, you know, throwing away your virginity or whatever, it's all good. We're supposed to be grateful we have some whack-ass passenger princess with a beard telling us how to drive. No thanks. I don't know. My impression of Saudi Arabia is it's all, like, government-made roads and stuff. So, like, you're not going to get any accidents because it's just, like, all infrastructure that they build with their oil money. I fucking hate driving with passengers in my car. It's truly so annoying. I hate it when my mother is in... my mother, as you might be able to guess, is a extremely controlling human being and also a massive backseat driver, so... I have fucking just, like, meltdown aneurysms if she's in the car with me. She is so distracting. Holy shit. It's okay because I don't actually have to drive with her most of the time, but when we do get in the car, I'm like, oh my god, Mom. Oh god, shut the fuck up. Oh my god. I will stop this car right now. We will not be going to Disneyland. I don't know any mom who isn't a drama queen as a passenger. True. That's probably true. SNK is owned by Prince MBS. True. Wait, wasn't it like a different prince? I don't think it was MBS himself. I think it was a different, more minor Saudi prince. Which Saudi prince owns SNK? Oh, it is Mohammed bin Salman's. It's his foundation. My mom fake hyperventilates when I drive. If I were not blood related and obligated to be nice to her, I'd drop her off at the closest Chili's. When you're driving with, like, your parents, especially your mother in the car, there should be, like, some sort of instant... Like, you know how the taxi cabs in New York have those, like, barriers so you can't get fucking shot? There should be, like, some sort of taxi cab barrier that you can set up to physically separate you from your parents. It should just be like a limousine barrier where it's like actually soundproof and you can just like close it on your end and you can't hear like whatever sound they're making in the passenger area. Just like, ma'am, please don't talk to me. I'm trying to focus on driving. Thank you. Good thing they didn't, like, put Maya and Janae in a hijab. They like money too much, thankfully. I'm pretty sure Saudi men don't mind seeing fully exposed women. The whole point of having women cover up is because you don't want your sister or wife to dress like a whore and be seen by other men, i.e. your women are your property, so for them to flaunt their sexual assets to other men is a bad thing. However, for a kunoichi such as Mai, who is already there as a sexual object, I don't think the you know, Islamic men are like, no, she can't dress like that. I think they're like, yay, let's, you know, let's masturbate like every other guy. Saudi men love seeing non-Muslim women. It's just like women who are married or related to you that are the problem. When I went to college, I took a Middle Eastern Studies course, and the woman teaching it was a blonde woman, like an actual blonde woman, like natural blonde. And she said that when she was in the Middle East and she was trying to get somebody to do something for her, she would take off her headscarf and show them, you know, let her blonde hair kind of flow out, and suddenly all the guys would just be like, oh, I'll do everything for you. Because everyone was so fucking horny for blonde women. And I was like, huh. Interesting. So that's the strategy. They only care in controlling their immediate family, and it's awful. Well, you don't want your sister having sex or something. I don't know. I don't have a sister, and I'm not Islamic, so... The only sisters I know are the anime sisters who only seem to be having sex with their blood-related brother in the anime, so... Imagine if there was, like, a anime sister who was like, I have a boyfriend, so I'm not gonna have sex with you, my literally related younger brother. It would just be a mind-blowing concept. Anime of the year, all years. They fucking love blondes in the Middle East. If you're a blonde who speaks Arabic, it's popped off to Chernobyl. Yeah, I think you're right. Blonde girls do have more fun. The only upgrade over the blonde girl is the mythological anime silver-haired Russian girl. When you can't be any more blonde, you go to the silver-haired route. I used to bring back Dallas Cowboys posters for my cousins in Egypt. I hope they grew up to become actual Dallas Cowboy fans instead of fake Dallas Cowboy fans, so they can eternally suffer under the guidance of Jerry Jones every year. There's a lot of funny suffering fan bases, but the Dallas Cowboy fans who still claim that they're quote-unquote America's team is one of the funniest. It's just like, Jesus Christ, when was the Dallas Cowboys good? Like the 90s? The 80s? I can't even remember. You guys are still being like, no. We're an important team. Just for the cheerleaders, not the team. They didn't give a shit about football. Ah, smart men. I heard that the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders were getting paid now. Because they complained enough about, you know, working for like $5 an hour. Dallas Cowboys cheerleader pay. They're getting a 400% raise. So they're getting paid $4 now. They're not saying the actual number. Oh, they went from $15 an hour to $60 per hour. So it actually is a significant amount of money. The problem with complaining about cheerleaders not getting paid enough, obviously the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders are popular and shit, is that there's football teams in the NFL that do not have cheerleaders at all, like the Green Bay Packers, and it doesn't help, you know, the motivation of the crowd to go watch games. So it's basically the effectiveness of cheerleaders has basically been disproved already. You can't be like, no, people won't show up if there aren't sexy women. It's like, no, we're all so gay for looking at other guys' asses. We will definitely still show up. They make a little more than the mascot. That's not fair to the mascot, though. The mascot should make more money than the cheerleaders, I think. The mascot has to wear all that shit. There's also only one mascot, and there's multiple cheerleaders. He's a fucking solo show. Also, mascots like have to take a shit ton of abuse. Every single kid thinks that kicking the mascot is funny, which is definitely something that cheerleaders don't have to deal with. I don't even know what the Cowboys mascot is, LOL. Yeah, I don't know either. I only know the NBA mascots. My favorite mascot is the NBA Raptor. The giant inflatable raptor. That thing is awesome. It's just like a giant walking head, and it eats people. The Spurs Coyote. Actually, I'm going to take that back. My favorite mascot is Pierre the Pelican of the New Orleans Pelicans before they had to change him. So, here's Pierre the Pelican right now. The current version of Pierre the Pelican. A pretty normal looking yellow thing. But the previous version of Pierre the Pelican was this. Actual literal nightmare fuel. This thing is scarier than any of the Five Nights at Freddy's creatures. This thing was walking around the NBA arena. There was like all these stories that when it would come at children, like they would literally just like freak out and just start crying their eyes out because they were terrified. There was like some sort of primordial fear of this beast as it approached them. Can you blame them? The thing is absolutely horrifying. I don't know what makes it so damn scary. I think it's the fact that the pupils are too like dilated. It's like looking into the darkness. When you stare into the void, this void is staring back at you. Still mad they named the team Pelicans? It's not like they're an awesome team that's, you know, only bad because they have a bad name or whatever. Who cares? What else are they supposed to name the New Orleans team after? What, like jazz or something? Don't be silly. Jazz is a music native to the Salt Lake City Mormon establishment. I can't actually remember where the Jazz were before they were sent to Utah. Was it New Orleans or was it like Memphis or something? Memphis, a famous location known for its grizzly bear population, of course. Our star player is a woman beater with a Naruto belly button tattoo, so it's a dark era. Wait, does Zion Williamson have a Naruto tattoo? See, now I have to look that up. Or is that a different player you're talking about? Oh god, it is him. Oh god, holy shit, he got the whole thing? He straight up fucking got the entire stomach seal? See, what I like is that now that in order for him to show off his Naruto stomach seal tattoo, he also has to show people that he is his conditioning is shit and he's grossly overweight to be an NBA player, which is pretty funny. There's no way for him to show off his cool tattoo without everybody being like, Zion, have you ever considered hiring a professional chef? Also, seems like body hair. Like he has to shave his body hair to properly display his Naruto tattoo. Well, this is sort of what you would expect from someone with the good judgment to be what? He was dating a porn star and then he was dating another woman who got in a fight with the porn star. I can't remember. Worst womb tattoo ever. It do be like that. Instead of exposing to the world that you're a sex slave, you're exposing to the world that you're a Naruto fan, which is much, much worse, of course. Bro doing his best to be a rock star, it seems. I mean, he could be a rock star if he could just lose weight and not destroy all of the ligaments in his legs every time he tried to play because he's overweight. That's step one. I shudder to think what happened the moment teenage Naruto discovered he could combine clones and sexy jutsu. Naruto is pure and also gay, so he didn't do anything. Who's the horniest character in Naruto now that you think about it? Heterosexual horny, not like homosexual horny, you know? I guess it's Sakura, right? Sakura just in desperate need of that Sasuke penis. I mean, that's her entire character, is how badly she needs the Ikemen penis inside her. And she didn't evolve from that any bit. Her entire storyline. Even in Boruto, she's still about, like, I'm a single mother because I succeeded in my lifelong dream of getting knocked up by Sasuke-kun. And now he just leaves me with a kid. Which is pretty fucking hilarious if you think about it. I legitimately can't tell if Kishimoto is aware of how funny the whole situation is. I think he's not aware. I think he thinks that, like, you know, it's a cool situation where Sasuke is off, like, protecting the Konoha village. And there's nothing incredibly pathetic and sad about, you know, Sakura being like, I'm a single mom now because my hubby doesn't come home. Wasn't the guy who trained Naruto pretty horny? I feel like he was performative horny instead of actual horny. I mean, he was out in the middle of nowhere, like, writing sex novels. Sakura is, you know, actually fighting for the penis. You know, instead of using layer masks, I just like creating a new layer and making it white. I feel it's easier. Having like a separate layer that doesn't actually exist called a layer mask can make shit more complicated in my mind. I don't know. Maybe Zion can actually escape his situation. If Zion can get out of New Orleans and maybe like he gets sent off to Miami or some shit, maybe that's all it really takes. Because like, I don't know. I don't watch much New Orleans Pelicans content for obvious reasons, but when he actually does play, he's like insanely effective. You know? But what if instead of doing this, I just go like this, and then just go like this? Yeah, that's fast. Yeah, that's faster. Let's do that. Okay. Easy. Mission accomplished. Yeah, just use the paint bucket tool. Good. Yeah, fast. There's all these tools that I need to be using, honestly, in Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint is a very fast software program if you're actually using it correctly, and I'm not. Bucket tool, yes. Yeah. Up until now, my bucket tool skills were not working, but now they're working. We did it. You all enjoy watching Hand Egg, or is just play pretend? I do not enjoy watching football. It is pretty boring, to be honest. TBH. I feel like I need to watch football because it's like such an important part of the American conversation and zeitgeist, but whenever I actually do and try and watch like an entire game, if it's not like a really just like extremely good game, it's I'm not going to be particularly entertained. I enjoy football a lot, but I'm also autistic about baseball, so what's happened with baseball is I kind of felt like I was obliged to watch baseball because people are like, Ohtani is the GOAT. And it's like, you have to watch this. He's doing something that hasn't happened for many, many years. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch Ohtani. And then once you start watching like one person play, then you end up kind of watching the rest of the team play, and then you end up watching like some other stuff. The reason why I'm okay with baseball now, and I wasn't okay with it a few years ago, is because they added the pitch clock, so now it actually ends within a certain time frame instead of going on for like 4 hours per game. So that makes it way more bearable. If they hadn't changed the pitch clock rules, I probably wouldn't watch it under any circumstance. It's that annoying. Gold ship is pissing me off. Whoa. Stupid, annoying horse. Bratty horse needs mating press correction. Except she will be the one mating pressing you. Have you guys seen like the actual gold ship horse and how it behaves? When Uma Musume was at its peak, I actually took the time to see some of the gold ship clips. Because there were so many viral clips of it being silly. Look at that face.
本気でないしたペロナメプ奏法を披露。後ろから追いかけられるとやっとやる気を出して突き放す。とんでもない走りで優勝した。ホルシは自分を叱った北村調教師にブチギレ、振り落とし脱臼させ病院送りにした。北村調教師は振り落とされた後、ホルシはその場に立ち止まって笑っていたと語った。トップ競走馬は引退後どこか不調を抱えていることが通常であるが、ホルシの場合異常が全くなく、現役中は本気で走ったことがない。
He's not dead, by the way.
噂になった競馬界の悪魔ゴールドシップ。
So all the things they were talking about in the shorts was basically how the gold ship wouldn't run fast unless like he was the horses behind him were actually catching up, and then it would finally start going. And they also saying that the he kicked his trainer off of him and dislocated the trainer's shoulder, and then the horse was just standing over him and laughing at the trainer while the trainer was like in pain and stuff. So what the fuck? See, all of the gold ship actual movement is actually mirrored by the anime character. You understand glorious Nippon language? Yeah, I'm fluent. I'm completely fluent. Not completely, but about as close as you can be usually. If I had to do like salaryman shit, I'd have work on my Keigo and stuff, but... Is it alive or is it glue? It's alive and is lying around, and then when the owners get paid $20 million for, you know, the stud fee, Gold Ship gets up and sticks his penis in, and that's it. And then he goes back to lying around. He won. Is there any Uma Musume and My Little Pony fandom overlap? I'm gonna say probably not. I don't know enough about either, but I feel like they're like two different, you know, directions in life almost. You do not speak Warring States period Japanese, so sort of fluent. Ue-sama! Ue-sama! 何事じゃ! 想像しいぞ、貴様! 上様! 上杉軍が攻めてまいりました。なんじゃと、具足を持て! When I try and read jidaigeki, Japanese like historical fiction and stuff, it's one thing watching the historical fiction like dialogue and just like watching the movies and shit, but if you actually have to try and read the book and it's all in kanji and it's like different readings for kanji at the time. See, this is the thing about Japanese kanji reading, it's not consistent. Like, there's a million exceptions to how you read certain things and it changes. So if you try and read, like, the Japanese historical fiction, I'm like, oh shit, how do I fucking read this shit? Oh fuck. It's so bad. You only drew 2 pictures of Uma Musume? I think my favorite Uma Musume is, the tsundere big titty one. I know that doesn't narrow it down very much. What's her name? Is it Daiwa Scarletto? Uma Daiwa Scarlet. Yeah, that's the thing. Look at that powerful booba. the Yakuza owners of the horse might be like, you cannot sexualize the horse, but I will sexualize the horse. Fucking sexo. Look at that sexo, by God. Look at this twin-tailed, big titty, self-assured sexo horse. One thing I can be thankful for is being born in Iran, where the writing system has not changed in the last 1400 years. I thought that wasn't like Islamic one of the hardest languages to learn from an English perspective, though. I was watching like some YouTube multilingual person, and he was trying to do a study of which languages were the hardest from an English speaker's perspective, and it was between Mandarin Chinese and what do you call Arabic. And his conclusion was Arabic was the hardest because it has classic Arabic, but then there's also classical Japanese as well. I think Japanese ultimately is harder because it's extremely inconsistent, like I just said, and they can just like change the rules whenever. Like there's all these location names in Japan that you can't read them. Even like local Japanese won't be able to read the name of the location because it doesn't follow any actual like logical rules on how you read certain characters. And that's the same for not just location names, but like people names as well. So when I would be translating shit as a professional translator, like I would have to translate the company telephone book, but I would be like, I can't, because I literally can't translate this because I don't know how you read these Japanese people's character names. Like, and it's not like a lack of knowledge. It can literally be different for each person, like on a case-by-case basis. There's just no way to know. So the whole thing is just a fucking joke. It's a massive joke of a language, honestly. Japanese is more difficult. Yeah, there's classical Japanese. You know what really sucks about classical Japanese, besides like not being able to read the way the characters work? Like, besides not being able to read the characters, it's written in like a special form of calligraphy. Oh my God. So, like... Oh, this is recent shit. Like, I understand it's all artistic and stuff. And this is actually one of the more readable stuff. This is flower right here. This is, Yo, the world. Hana no. This is actually way more readable than some of how bad it can get. So if you want to be like a historian in Japan, you have to figure out how to learn like this type of fucking documents. Like for a modern Japanese person, this shit is like completely fucking unreadable. Completely unreadable. Like, oh my God. I have no idea. I can like make out one letter here or one letter here or one letter here. Half of Genji is actually the original Chinese Hanji? Yeah. Actually, I'm guessing that Tale of Genji is probably pretty easy to read on a total scale of things. Because, like, besides, because it's like aristocratic writing and stuff, I bet there's like a bunch of samurai writing like post Heian period that is completely impossible to read. That kanji looked nothing like Hana LMAO. It's that's one of the more readable things that I've seen, honestly. If you go to like temples in Japan and they have like these what do you call them? These calligraphy drawn ornament stuff, and you try and read what says there, even if you can read Japanese, you won't be able to read a single fucking thing. Japanese people themselves find these obnoxious. Yeah, but they don't actually have to use them in their daily life, at least. So it's not that bad. What makes Japanese hard is that not only is there like old stuff you can't read, there's also new stuff you can't read as well. Because they're constantly adding like new words and stuff. Japan is a country where they have this thing called Ryukogo Taisho, which is like a yearly award for the new word that was created this year. So you know how like in America we're always like, that bussin' for real. And then when a Zoomer says that, you want to just fucking murder them, right? You're like, you should speak the English language like a normal person, you stupid fuck. Well, in Japan, instead of like trying to murder the Zoomer, they're like, wow, this word bussing, what a great new word. Let's celebrate the birth of this new word. And they do this every single fucking year. And there's enough nominations, so that means there's enough new words to have like a whole fucking nomination process every single fucking year. It's a dark, dark country to live in if you're one of those grammatical Nazis. To a grammar Nazi in Japan, it's like the Third Reich has been over for a long time, and your Führer is just like straight up dead. He already shot himself in the bunker. The chances of the grammar Nazis winning is like next to nothing. Fucking kanji otaku. Yeah, don't get me started on stuff like the kanji tests. Like kanji kente, kankyu, type 3, all that stuff. It's kind of interesting how Japanese just seems to accept any and all loan words. Not only do they accept loan words, there's all these words that Japanese think are loan words, but they're actually words that Japanese made up. They're not even actual loan words. Like, Japanese will say things like handoru, turn the handoru when you're driving. There's all these car-related words that you think are from English, but they're not. Handoru, to turn the handoru. When they say handoru, they mean the fucking steering wheel. When they say gasoline stando, the gasoline stand, they mean the gas station. And so on and so on. The amount of times that the word I was thinking was the English word with Japanese syllables fucking killed me inside. Sometimes it is the English word with Japanese syllables, but they also have like the words from other countries as well, right? Pan, your bread, your meron pan. That ain't English, that's like, what, Portuguese or Dutch or whatever. There's all this Portuguese and Dutch words because they came in first. But then all the modern words that were from the English parts of the world, those are different as well, you know. European nations hate borrowing words. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's the power of katakana, I guess. When you have your special alphabet system just for borrowed words, you start becoming more aggressive, I guess. They call cigarettes cigars. They call cigar leaf cigars. The question is, what do you call vaping? I don't even know what Japanese call vaping, and I know they're vaping because they're all addicted to nicotine, but I'm pretty sure they can't say vape because Japanese fucking they have an inability to say V words. So I don't even know what the word they use for vaping is. Not that it really affects my life, of course, because I don't vape at all. No, they call it vape. I guess they can't say vape. They have Vespa. Oh yeah, they have they have denshi tabako. That's right, e-tobacco. Literally means electronic cigarettes. Yeah, I think that's what they use. They say denshi tabako. I don't think I need all of these lines. And then there's the formal and non-formal. That's also a huge problem in Japan because you actually have to know your formal shit, your keigo and kensongo and stuff like that, because so much of Japanese society is about being super polite all the time. So you actually need to learn that stuff, which is always a problem. Fucking keigo desu gozaimasu. See, the problem with formal Japanese is if you don't properly do your keigo and like you're working at a part-time job. I don't know if this is going to happen if you're a girl. Well, of course it happens if you're a girl as well. But if you're a guy and you're not properly using keigo for your senpai will actually get fucking pissed. We're like, ah, 何タメ口聞いてんのお前。お前、おい、お前、お前、先輩に何タメ口聞いてんのなんなんお前、ぶっ殺すぞお前、なんだお前。Actually getting you're fucking delinquent. And they're not even being delinquent. It's just like stupid shit. And the thing is, it makes it difficult about Japanese society is that it's unclear when you have to activate the keigo and kensongo and shit like that, because like half the time, like you don't use that shit if you're just like communicating with other people at your part-time job or something. It's stupid. No one's using that. But then suddenly you have like one specific senpai who's like, huh? なんだお前何タメ口聞いてんだお前 huh? It's just like, what the fuck? Where's the rules for this shit? As someone who has Asperger's, it sucks. Which is why when I'm in Japan, I use my gaijin card constantly. I'm like, oh, I'm the silly gaijin. I didn't know. Office culture for dudes in Japan seems legit abusive. Yeah. I'm not sure it's that much better for women as well, but maybe a little bit better. Because you're expected to retire anyways. Even if you're an OL, you're supposed to get married and retire, so... Using it outside of work makes you sound like a sanctimonious asshole. Maybe if you look white enough, you just shouldn't learn Japanese. Like, you should learn Japanese, but then when you're actually communicating with people, just, like, maintain the gaijin forever. You often hear white people complain about how no matter how hard you try to fit in, you'll never fit into Japanese society. They'll always see you as an outsider. And to that I say, you know what? That's fucking good. You want to be seen as an outsider. You don't want to be subjected to the level of abuse that Japanese people subject themselves to. You're better off. Never off alone. If you're a white guy, you can find a a gaijin fucking Japanese woman who wants to fuck you. If you're a Japanese guy, you cannot find a white woman who wants to fuck you. I have literally never seen a white woman with a Japanese male husband, and I've seen like a million versions of the vice versa of white guy with Japanese female as their wife. In fact, it's pretty rare to have a white guy in Japan who doesn't have a Japanese wife. Especially Osaka. Osaka is a friendly location in Japan until they're not friendly, and then they become Yakuza and beat the shit out of you, but they're mostly friendly. Tokyo is just like normal, I don't know, impersonal urban location. Osaka is like the everybody is your best friend until they're not kind of location. $79 Fahrenheit, I know that life. I'm getting used to it, honestly. Even a small amount of air conditioning goes quite a ways if you have the fan on. I wish we could lower it to 77 or something, but, you know, you learn to deal with it. Asian male, white female seems to be a thing, maybe? No, it's not. It really isn't. There's never a noble reason for white men past 20 to go to Japan. What are you talking about? I just want to find my perfect anime waifu. That's normal. That's a noble, pure-hearted reason. The white women who go to Japan or something, I don't know what they do there, but they're definitely not there to fuck Asian men, that's for sure. That is not the reason why you go to Japan if you're a white woman. Whenever I see people complaining about how Japanese are xenophobic racists, it's usually a white woman. Meanwhile, the black people are like, I love being in Japan because even if the police ask me whether I'm a criminal or not, I know 100% they're not going to shoot me, so it's a good life not getting shot. I always feel like the white women I knew didn't bother learning the culture or language. So one of my uncles, after his wife, that would be my aunt, died, he, typical of older guys who have a lot of money in the bank, he started dating these other women, and he kept on dating these white women. He has a obvious type, and it's white women. So he had this Canadian girlfriend who was like a 40-year-old alcoholic, overweight white woman. And I was just like, can he really not do any better? And thank God he didn't marry her. But she had been in Japan for years and years and years, and she still she really couldn't speak Japanese to any real degree. I was just like, what are you doing here besides getting drunk? You live on easy mode? Holy heck. What specifically is easy mode about me? Because there are many things that are easy mode about me. Is it the fact that I can speak Japanese without having to properly learn the language because I went to Japan when I was like 6? Because that is easy mode. I have never actually learned a language like by properly memorizing the vocabulary and stuff. They fancy K-pop looking Asians. I mean, don't we all? I want a K-pop boyfriend. I meant regarding not getting shot by the police. I'm white, so I don't really have to worry about getting shot by the police. But that's the joy about being in Japan, is that nobody has to worry about getting shot by the police. The police technically have guns, but if they even fire a single bullet under any circumstance, they're in big, big trouble. So most of them have never ever fired their gun, even in like proper target practice and stuff. I mean, I can always get shot by non-police entities in America. Everybody else is owning a gun. There was a shooting at my local Planet Fitness, by the way. It was a few months back. Maybe it was last year, like the middle of last year. Just like two people from out of town. They just met up in a Planet Fitness. And I guess they had some words and they went out into the parking lot and shot each other. Neither of them died, I think. I can't imagine what kind of communication these strangers would have had in a Planet Fitness to go from not knowing each other to shooting each other, but that's America for you. Japanese police, I think, have to account for every bullet shot. Yeah, there's like a Japanese police guy who left his gun in a convenience store toilet because he had to shit so bad, and it was like national news, and he was like humiliated. I don't know what happened to him, but this was like a huge deal. It's like, holy shit, this guy fucked up so bad. It's not like America where every single human being on the fucking country gets to own a gun, multiple guns. We tend to just have grenades here in Scandinavia. I guess you have to fish with something. See, yeah, I should end the stream soon as well, actually. Yeah, it's 7. Yeah, it is night time for me, so I will also be ending the stream and go sleep in the basement. I did not make much progress these 2 days, but it do be like that when you're generating AI elf porn. But I will be getting back on the bus now. See you around, guys. Good night. Have a nice night.